Hey guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to the weekly IBD video where in essence, I'm trying to find stocks setting up like a PHM back here in the 1980s. Side note, that was also a high inflationary environment. MarketSmith are the sponsor of this video. There's a discounted trial available in the comments below. If you are interested, we've got 11 stocks to be going through and we're going to do that right after this short history lesson. So when I'm blabbering on in these videos about a stock displaying relative strength, putting in trigger bars on one or more key moving averages, this in essence is what I'm looking for, a stock that can set up like PHM. See how it's building higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, consolidating around many key moving averages. Look how the volume dries up. Look how the RS line versus the market, extremely strong. This green line here is the stock versus its own entry group, extremely strong. And then trying to time that trigger bar, break through the high of the trigger bar with a tight stop loss, and then if a stock is going to make a move from $4 to nearly $40, not messing up the trade management, especially if it doesn't violate any of my sell rules. So the 11 stocks that we're going to be going through, we're going to be doing it on the weekly chart to mix things up a little bit, but this in essence is what I'm looking for, especially these last couple of weeks. Extreme tightness, consolidating on one or more key moving averages, volume drying up, impressive relative strength, where I can then create a very asymmetric risk versus reward trade. So let's start off with a couple of oil and gas stocks. And we want to be looking at them today rather than back in the 1980s. So you can start to draw a couple of parallels, can't you, with some of the oil and gas stocks you're going to see. Take a look at these RS lines. See how the RS line versus the S&P 500 on a longer term basis, an intermediate term basis, a short term basis is now starting to turn up. RS line versus the stock zone entry group starting to turn up there. What chart pattern do you see? I see a potential cup and handle starting to consolidate around many key moving averages. So just looking for that perfect trigger bar to set up in the high 40s, just below kind of $50. Volume is drying up nicely, really good earnings, sales, all of that good stuff. So oil and gas stocks are coming back up on my radar because of the technical strength that we are seeing there. Hess is another one, so we always want to think about those higher quality growth funds as the smarter money in the market. Where are they initiating positions? Where are they adding to positions? So you can see that we've got two here which have been busy in recent quarters. Take a look at these RS lines, look pretty strong, don't they? Nice bounce. This red line here is the 10-week moving average. That's going to be closely linked with the 50 SMA on the daily chart, and then the green line that you see here that there is the 21 EMA on the weekly. So starting to go sideways for around about 8ish weeks. So just looking for a pivot point set up in the low $140 area. Just need to see continued tightness. Volume is drying up very nicely on this one. Good earnings, good sales, very good estimates coming through for the next couple of years. One of the granddaddies is ExxonMobil. So take a look at these RS lines versus the market versus the stock zone entry group. Fidelity been busy in recent quarters. Shakeout underneath the 10-week, now beginning to reclaim. So just watching and waiting for this one to go sideways. A couple of nice tight weekly trigger bars would be good. See this perfect weekly trigger bar you get in here. See the tightness there. See how the volume dries up. See how the RS have been turning up somewhat into that as well, and the stock have been building high lows. This is a little cup and handle with a low pivot. Really strong, very good earnings, very good sales. Big kind of breakout year here for 2022 with the earnings per share estimates, forward guidance up as well. So some of these oil and gas stocks starting to look very interesting, and some big bases there on the weekly chart. So think about the cause and effect relationship of that as well. Another one is Halliburton, is Halliburton, where I am seeing kind of a little pocket of strength in the oil and gas stocks as well, is in oil and gas field services. Is currently ranked number 1 out of 197. Schlumberger is one of the bigger boys in there. Some recent breakouts in that area. Ticker 9, ticker OII, HLX as well. Potential cup and handle forming here. Nice bounce off a consolidation of these key moving averages, or a clustering of those key moving averages. Look how the volume is drying up. Look how these RS lines are turning up. It's pretty much a trigger bar last week, but I just want to see it tighten up a little bit more underneath $40. This one here, well and truly on my radar. Take a look at the estimates. Forward guidance up. ROE 17%, triple digit earnings coming through, accelerating sales coming through, ticking many of the boxes. It's not on the list, but I'm going to show you. Schlumberger. This one here is in the number 1 ranked industry group, oil and gas field services. What chart pattern do you see? Potential cup and handle with a high handle forming here. Last week, again, shortened week, time of year as well, a little bit quieter. But see how this is potentially tightening up in here. That volume is drying up. Good earnings, good sales, really good forward guidance as well. So little oil and gas stocks looking strong, but a little pocket of strength in there is certainly the field services. Let's go on to the next one, which is Deere & Co. So we've got some high quality growth funds increasing positions. Some have been reducing positions. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. Very steady early with the earnings per share year-over-year growth. Earnings share growth rate last 3 to 5 year look back 26%, ROE of 37%. Sales and earnings have been accelerating. So on the earnings side, 20%, 16, 81, and then relatively easy comps as well. So if you look back at January, So obviously these are year over year. So you can see October was comping over plus 72%, whereas January is gonna, or the next quarter to be reported, is going to be comping over this number. So interesting one, maybe potentially some easy comps there, but we'll see whether that really makes a difference or not. But sales certainly accelerating 5, 11, 22, and 37. RS lines are good. What chart pattern do you see? I see a potential big cup in the handle with around about 5 weeks or so tight in the handle, and then you have the 10-week line, that red line there as well. That's a nice spot to be looking for some large operators step in. See how it was supported here, supported here, supported here. So we'll see whether we start seeing some large operators step in and trigger bar forming. Volume is drying up nicely, so that one there is on the radar, albeit likely to be a bit of a slow mover. Charles Schwab been around for a little while, but RS lines are impressive. Potential cut and handle forming with a lower handle. There's 2 very bullish weeks coming through in here, and now there's been nearly 7 or 8 weeks or so just nice kind of sideways action going on. So just looking for this one to tighten up and meet my criteria. This one here, this is Mobileye Global. I think this is really interesting. It's to do the technology is to do with AI driving as well, which I think is going to be a very big area in the future, especially TAS, which is transport as a service. So you've probably heard about SaaS, which is software as a service. TAS, transport as a service. I think it's going to be a very big future growth area. Now I'm going to actually just go down to the daily chart here. So relatively new in terms of its IPO date, and it didn't get absolutely walloped, which is good. It's had a shakeout underneath the 21 here, now starting to find supportive action around the 10 EMA, which is this pink line here. So looking for a low pivot to form in coming weeks, but this one looks very, very interesting indeed. If this can tighten up, yeah, high on my radar is Mobileye. Just need to see a setup. Some of the semiconductor stocks are starting to come back. There's 2 in particular on the IBD 50 list, which is Broadcom and also LSCC. I'll show you that one as well. It's not on the list, but I'll show it to you anyway. So you've got RS lines turning up. I don't think this one is going to be absolutely fantastic in terms of the size of the move it's going to make, but it's showing a lot of relative strength. It's a very liquid stock, has a history of being able to build some nice bases and trend well as well, which is always a good thing in my book. So 2 weeks, pretty tight, pretty sideways. So can this just continue to tighten up in there and create what I call a trigger bar? Very consistent earnings sale, forward guidance year over year, ticking up. ROE 60, 69%. So fairly strong. LSCC is another one on the IBD 50 list. So RS lines are good, a little bit weaker from a technical perspective than a Broadcom in prior weeks. So it's just around the 10-week line there. So maybe it can bounce and put a lower pivot. But I'd say Broadcom at the minute technically looks stronger, albeit higher earnings coming through and sales, and also the full guidance looks better in terms of the earnings per share based on LSCC. But I will revert back to the market, which always knows way more than me. So next one up is SMCI. Take a look at these relative strength lines. Super duper strong, isn't it? Stock has been already making a big move. Now it's pulling back to this red line, which is the 10-week. And then on the daily chart, I'll show you this in a second, you're starting to see a clustering of the 10 EMA, 21 EMA, and 50 SMA. Nice reference point. Take a look at these earnings accelerating: 540, 210, 223, 490. Sales accelerating as well. Big breakout year expected for 2023. You can see the company's gone from earning $2.50 a share, $5 a share, to then 2023. The estimates are $10 a share plus 79% with the forward guidance app as well. Go down to the daily chart. I treat these more so as kind of pocket pivots, very, very low pivots. But when the stock has made a really nice move like this, starts pulling back and then starts building higher lows into the 50 SMA, rising 50 SMA, and then starts clustering around the 50, the pink line 10 EMA, the green line 21 EMA, and it just starts tightening like this. This is what I'm really looking for, so where it gets very, very tight, and then I can go in, targeting it here, preferably then with a stop loss below all 3 of those key moving averages, where the risk reward also makes sense. So just looking for this one to tighten up, but that there looks that there looks very interesting. Good fund ownership growth as well. 2 more. TTC is the next one. So what chart pattern do you see? Potential deep cup and handle, but some really starting to power up here. Nice shakeout underneath the 10-week line 2 weeks ago. RS lines look terrific. High quality growth fund increasing their position in the most recently reported quarter. It's got some fairly easy comps as well. Earnings in the most recent 2 quarters plus 29%, plus 98%. Sales accelerating 9%, 19%, 22%. Good to see. Estimates looks pretty steady Eddie, but ticking up. So if this can just go sideways and create a high handle in here, or kind of a handle, absorb the supply at the top of this potential cup in here, but get some nice harvest box action around the 10-week, that there could look very interesting. And then finally, Celsius, still watching this one. 3 high quality growth funds initiated a position in the most recently reported quarter. RS lines still look good. See how it's starting to build these higher lows here. So on the weekly chart, see how it's starting to put in these higher lows, pulling back into the 10-week around $100 Livermore point psychological level. So can this just tighten up around the 10-week? which is then also going to be the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. So let's just go down and take a look at it. So see how you have this really nice shakeout around $100 and on the 50-day moving average, that red line here. So ideally looking for a little pop up, gets nice and tight in here like that, and then can potentially target a very low pivot / pocket pivot, but volume's drying up nicely. I think this one here is still looking interesting, just need to set up as per my criteria. So I'll wrap it up there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic 2023, and I'll see you in the next video.